get the attention.
I'm ready. Now I'm ready.
It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, and I hereby call this regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. Could you please bow your heads for invocation by Councilman Clark?
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, first off, thanking you for all you've done for us and for your mercy from the effects of Hurricane Ian. We ask you to be with all those affected by the storm and help them to recover from the devastating aftermath that they now face. Bless the lives that were lost and those that lost their homes. Help them rebuild back quickly so they may continue on with their lives. We also ask your blessings as we continue the week of cruising the coast. Keep the visitors as well as the local residents safe from harm and let everyone have a great time as memories are made. Bless this community we live in. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here.
Councilmember Finley.
Here.
Councilmember Lisi.
Here.
Councilmember Cumberland.
Here.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Marr.
Here.
Could I get a motion to adjust or confirm agenda? Motion made by Councilman Clark to confirm. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor? Aye. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held on Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The 10th Annual Blessing of the Classics will be tomorrow, Wednesday, October 5th from 1 to 7 at City Hall. Cruisers, live music, and food on the town green. Cruisers Parade to the Blessing Circle will be from 4 to 7. Tonight we have a proclamation for White Cane Day. Whereas the white cane, which every blind citizen of our state has the right to carry, demonstrates and symbolizes the ability to achieve in full an independent life and the capacity to work productively in competitive employment. And whereas the white cane, by allowing every blind person to move freely and safely from place to place, makes it possible for the blind to fully participate in and contribute in our society. And whereas every citizen should be aware that the law requires that motorists exercise appropriate caution when approaching a blind person carrying a white cane. And whereas the City of Diamond Head also calls upon employers, both public and private, to be aware of and utilize the employment skills of our blind citizens by recognizing their worth as individuals and their productive capabilities. And whereas the Diamond Head Lions Club will honor a White Cane Day in Diamond Head on October 15th, 2022. And whereas the City of Diamond Head, through its public agencies and with the corporate assistance of the Diamond Heads Lions Club, can look forward to a continued expansion of employment opportunities for and greater acceptance of blind persons in the competitive labor market. Now, therefore, I, Nancy DePrio, Mayor of the City of Diamond Head, Mississippi, do hereby proclaim Saturday, October 15th, 2022 as White Cane Day. And the City of Diamond Head, and do call upon employers and the public to utilize the available skills of the confident blind persons and to open new opportunities for the blind in our rapidly changing society. And upon all citizens to recognize the white cane as an instrument of safety and self-help for blind pedestrians on our streets and highways. And witness thereof, I have unto set my hand and caused of the great seal of the City of Diamond Head, Mississippi, to be affixed. So ordered this 4th day of October. And we don't have anybody here tonight from the Diamond Head Lions Club, but I will be at their next meeting and I will present it to them. They do so much great work with vision, blind, as well as many other things. So thank you, Diamond Head Lions Club, and I'll bring this to the next meeting. The Diamond Head Festival and Barbecue Competition will be held Saturday, November 5th, 2022, from 11 to 7 at Harbor Circle. If you go on the city's website, there's a link to click on. We do need teams to compete, so please click on the link and join in the fun. Diamond Head Police Department's National Night Out will be held October 20th, 2022 at the East Rec Center from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and City Hall from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Captain Luther, do you want to say anything about that?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a fun night, and it's in 2 different locations, so it helps the residents split up where you need to go to be at. And now we have FY21 audit update from Mr. Ty Nikase of Nikase and Company.
Thank you. Good to see everyone again. So this is audit update 2 of 2. Okay, so this is it. When I'm done, you are done with me at that point. So basically is where we're at. So I am going to give you the financial part of the audit update. Last time, we covered the findings, so I'm not going to cover those again this time, which last time kind of, it represented what would typically be the audit committee meeting and a meeting with you at the same time, so we kind of did that. It was a little unorthodox way that we did it. But tonight, really, I'm just covering the first 12 pages of the audit report because the important things, and then there's a couple pages in the back, the letter of the audit opinion, and then the management discussion and analysis, which is a summary of your financial, so financial analysis. We'll cover that a little bit. I'm not going to take too long to do that. And then please just throw any questions out that you have, and I'll be happy to answer. So I'm going to start, if you have this in front of you, I'm going to start on page 5. So page 5 of the audit report, this is the letter. So I just noticed there's a misspelling there that we need to correct. This is the letter here, basically, that says that everything is good in our opinion. Your financial statements present fairly, and there's no material misstatements that we're aware of. Even though in the findings when we did present it to you, there were some misstatements that we identified, like inventory and things along that line. None of them rise to the occasion where we have to do a disclaimer in your audit that says we're not confident in the numbers. So even though there was some misstatements, we're still confident in the numbers, that they're reasonably close, and that you can rely on this. So that's basically what page 5 is saying. So you send this off to your grantors, grant agency, things along that line. This is the letter they're looking at, basically. I'm going to jump over to page 8. So this is your management discussion and analysis. This is a summary of the financial statements for the year. We start with the government-wide financial highlights, which is a summary of the summary. So I'm going to skip those because we're going to cover those in the next couple of pages. But that's basically the main highlights of this management discussion and analysis here. Toward the bottom of page 8, you got fund statement financial highlights. So just FYI for you, what happens every year when you get a certain amount of money. So if you have significant volume in a grant, a large grant comes in, $1 million or $2 million or something like that, it generates for you a new fund. So in your world, you have to track money and your spending through certain funds. So if a grant comes in and it is to a significant amount, it changes your financials and your reporting and things in your budgeting and things along that line. So just what we're showing right here is that you had the American Rescue and Recovery Act. You had funding that come in from that created a new major fund for you. And basically what that means is that it's something that should be presented on the face of your financial statements, and it should be something that's presented in your packets. When you're seeing your financial reports from the administration, these are the funds that they should especially be reporting on because they're major in nature. And then you also have a new fund for the emergency watershed protection grant money as well, which is a couple $100,000. Switching over to page 9, there's not really a whole ton on here. It basically just talks about the different statements. In short, basically what it means is that some of your statements are close to cash basis and some of your statements are in accrual basis, meaning that you know, on the accrual basis side, we're just booking everything that incurred for you. So if you have payables, you have receivables, you have anything that you generate, you do a contract, you have commitments, you have all this type of stuff on the accrual world, we have to treat all of that accordingly. And then your governmental funds, which is what you guys are monitoring your budget with, is typically on the cash basis, which is what, you know, it's just easier to read. And when you guys are monitoring and, you know, actual budget versus actual things along that line, that's the statements that you want to look at. So it's just a general explanation of your statements on page 9. Page 10 and 11 is where we get to the good stuff. So on page 10, just a couple things I want to kind of point out to you. Overall, look, I will tell you this. I have no concern for your financial well-being, okay? So hopefully you do not either, because you guys are doing exceptionally well, okay? So you guys, the administration, y'all work very well together on the financial side of things, monitoring your budget and budgeting and things like that. So I mean, just very good. Just a couple highlights that I want to point out to you. One, so a couple years ago, I actually came before you and said, you know, hey, we are budgeting a certain level, and we're kind of putting too much money in the bank, you know, because when you're budgeting, you know, your fiduciary responsibility, when you are budgeting and you're taxing people, you just can't tax them just to accumulate money, you know. Well, you guys really kind of started rectifying that situation this past year, because your cash on the accrual side of things, your true cash dropped a good bit. It was, you know, $500,000 or so, but on the accrual side of things, it dropped over $1 million, somewhere around 1.3 million. So you guys really started picking up steam in spending money this year. And not only that, so that top line there, see that current and other assets, that 10.663697, that is net of that drop in cash. And then what happened is you turned around and you got receivables of over a couple $1 million for grants and grant projects and things like that. You got disaster recovery funds. You got money that's coming through. So you guys spent a whole lot of money, and then a lot of money is going to be coming back. So that's basically what that's showing, that top line. And then below that, capital assets, you actually had a drop of 1.6 million. So typically what happens is when your assets are dropping, it's because of depreciation. The thing that I want you to kind of think about, though, as a council is, you know, is it good for the city to always have net value of assets dropping? Okay, so dropping means what? You're not really investing back into your infrastructure and things along that line. So just be mindful of that. It is very normal that you have drops in capital asset, net capital assets because of depreciation, but you know, you want to be mindful through your budget of this particular year, you actually spent $800,000 or so on new assets, but then your value is dropping around 1.6. So, you know, at the realized value of these and at the aging that we're doing on them, you don't always just want net assets dropping, because that means you're not technically keeping up with infrastructure to that, you know, the level that you should be investing into and things along that line. So I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, that drop there was so significant on top of the fact that you actually added 800 and some odd thousand new assets into that number. Current and other liabilities dropped a little bit. That mainly happened because you had significant payables the year before that you paid off. There's nothing special about that. That was just the way your year ends fell. And then your debt actually went up. So your debt went up $237,000, you know, which means assets dropping, cash dropping, debt going up. Typically, you know, when an accountant comes to you and says those things, they're like, hey, I'm kind of worried. I'm not really worried about that. It's kind of all part of your master plan here, but just be mindful of it and just watch it. You know, you don't want debt going up, you don't want asset values going down, and you don't want cash going down, because then you got budget management issues and things along that line. I'm not saying you have that, but I'm just pointing out to you the trends that I'm looking at, so that when you're looking at it in the future, you know, you can hopefully monitor it. On page 11, this is a summary of the income statements, basically. Program revenues and general revenues at the top. So general revenues are your taxation. So when you tax people, or sales tax or things along that line, is general revenues. And then program revenues is other money that's not through taxation. So grant money, things along that line is what hits here. So that 2.8 is grant money. That's all the new revenue that I was kind of telling you about. And then below that, what I thought was very interesting, and I actually was communicating with John about it, and I want to point out to you, the general revenues, if you notice, actually dropped $134,000 for the year, which means that you collected less tax money. So why did that happen? Because there was a millage decrease, right? So you did a millage decrease, you collected less tax money. But where I kind of took it with him as I looked at your budget, okay? So we'll look at your budget versus actual, and you guys actually came in under your expected budget, which is hugely important for you to monitor, because if you're expecting to collect a certain amount of tax dollars for drainage purposes or whatever you're budgeting for, and you're coming in a couple $100,000 short, you really need to know that by the end of the year, because you're expecting to spend on a certain level that you're not collecting on. So that did not happen for you in 21, and it looks like it is also not going to happen for you in 22, which makes me want to caution you for 23, because if 23 looks like it is also going to trend down, you need to know that and be ready to adjust your budget accordingly, because you won't have the tax dollars available to you that you're expecting to have, okay? So just be mindful of that, because it does look like you were short in 21, you're short in 22, and according to the budget you just passed, if this holds true, you're likely going to be short again in 23, maybe, depending on valuations and all that good stuff. So just be mindful of that. Other than that, on the expenses, this is the way government accounting works. It's just kind of showing you here, general government, public safety, public works, culture and rec, so you can kind of see what areas you're spending on. How much money are you spending in culture and rec? How much money you're spending on conservation of natural resources and things along that line. It's just nothing really major there to point out. And then on page 12, the only thing I kind of wanted to point out to you there was under economic factors. Of course, COVID is an economic factor. But what I thought was really neat is, and another thing I want to point out to you, is to maybe watch your sales tax revenue, because so far, industry-wide, it's holding true that 2021 is like a booming year, okay? So it is expected that your sales tax revenue went up for 21, and it did. The question is what's going to happen in 22? So at first I'm thinking, okay, so do we really need to look for economic factors? Do we really need to look and see if 22 is going to come down because of the free-flowing money is kind of not so much, not so available anymore, that kind of thing. But it's actually looking like in 22 your sales tax is going to go up again. But what's happening is that the per item price is going up. Inflation is through the roof, right? So the per item price is going up, but the retailers are seeing much less items being purchased. So instead of people buying 100 items, now they're paying the same amount of money or more to buy 70 items or things along that line. And so it's kind of interesting, because I was preparing to come up here and say, hey, you might want to be prepared, on the sales tax side, but who knows what's going to happen with sales tax. It is important for you to monitor for budget purposes for the same reason as property tax, because if the money doesn't come through, you don't want to be committing yourself to a couple $100,000 project that the money's not going to come through on. Sales tax is the same way. But so far, it is actually kind of looking like sales tax is holding strong. So I thought that was kind of fascinating, because Chuck can probably attest to it, that in the retail world that the shopping carts are not near as full, but the checkout price is about the same. And it's just kind of fascinating that you guys are still collecting the same amount of sales tax even though the sales volume is much less. So I thought that was kind of neat. You have any questions so far? I'm going to jump. I'm almost done. So see, I'm flying through this. I don't know how long I've been talking, but so I'm going to jump to page 37 just real quick. So this is your budget versus actual for your general fund, okay? So I'm not 100% sure what all reports you guys are seeing and how often you're seeing them, but at the end of the day, the single most important thing for you to monitor is your budget versus actual, okay? You control the city through your budget, and the budget versus actual is vital to you. So, this is just a presentation of your budget versus actual. You came out, good for the year. The only thing that was kind of interesting to us is, on your intergovernmental revenues, there was a couple $1 million in your final budget. Your original budget started off with a fraction of that amount, and then the budget was amended to put a couple $1 million worth in it, and then at the end of the day, it actually came out closer to the original budget. So why does that matter? It matters because when you are looking at your reporting, you want to know, technically by statute, the administration cannot spend beyond your budget, right? So if you have a $2 million number in here that you're really not collecting, it skews your budget. So you have to really look at it by at least department level or fund level so that you know, hey, it looks great. Our budgeted revenues or whatever is higher than our expenses, but is it really what's happening, There's nothing wrong with this. You can amend your budget every meeting if you want, 2 times a month. It doesn't matter. But just be mindful that you regulate through your budget, okay? So when your budget versus actuals come to you, make sure you look at them and make sure you look at things like this, because if the revenue is not expected to come in toward the end of the year, you need to amend these things, make it close to realistic so that you know how your true year came out, kind of thing. So that's page 37, and then the very last thing I'm going to touch on is on page 49. Oh, wait, sorry, 47. Page 47. So these are the other reports that matter, okay? So this year, you guys expended more than $750,000 in federal funds, all right? So anytime that you expend a certain amount of federal funds, you have to have what's called a single audit. Single audits are very boring. What it means is that we come through and we pull the regulations for the grant program, and we try to go through and see if you are following those regulations for the grant. It's very hard to do because the government normally doesn't give you what the regulations are in most cases. So you have to go kind of find it and figure it out and read the law and all those types of things. So this report right here covers your internal control, your compliance with federal programs. Basically, the opinion on the report is that it is good. There is no findings. On page 49, this covers your uniform guidance, which is the compliance part of your federal grants. There is no exceptions on here or no findings noted, which is a very good thing, because you get a finding in the grant world, it hurts your grants. So if you're sending this to a government agency that's wanting to give you millions of dollars and there's findings on here, they don't want to give you millions of dollars, is basically what happens. So it's vital that you keep track of this. And, the staff did a really good job. I asked for everything. They just loaded me up with paperwork. And luckily you were in the public disaster funds program, and public disaster funds are so heavily regulated by MEMA and FEMA that it's almost impossible to do anything wrong. But y'all did a very good job on the grant stuff, so you got a clean report as far as that goes. Beyond that, we go into internal control findings and all that kind of stuff that we already talked about. I will be happy to answer any question that you have.
Any questions to my left? Any questions to my right? Thank you very much. I know you spent a lot of time here, and you did an outstanding job.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. So I just want to say one last time, thank you guys very much. This was our 4th audit, and I'm truly appreciative of it. So I think you guys are going out for bid, and good luck on your next round. So, but again, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
City managers report.
Yes, let me give you an update of the projects that we have open. McKeekee Drive, that project is progressing slowly due to material shortage. The council should be receiving a change order at the next meeting, requesting additional days due to the shortage. It's mostly the culvert under the road. They've ordered it when they first got submittals approved, but cannot get the material here. So they're working on it and hope to have it soon. The pond dredging, the contractor has expressed that his bid is incorrect and should not or cannot really do the job. We're negotiating with him to see what resolution can be reached, and hopefully we can reach something soon on that one. The Hilo Way project drainage, that paperwork has all been received. The engineer is working with the company to get everything put together, and we will schedule a pre-conference sometime later this month. The Twin Lakes Park and Dog Park, the engineering firm is completing the plans. I think right now all we're looking for is the entrance into the dog park, just the drawings for that. And then hopefully we'll be advertising that later this month as well. Phase 4 paving, the contractor had some bad weather days on prior projects that he slowed down, or got him slowed down. So then he was supposed to start first of this week, but because of cruising the coast, he decided, hey, let me wait another week. And so he will start, he's scheduled to start October the 10th on that project. The Paddle Paradise event last Saturday was extremely successful. We had over 120 participants. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves and had a good time out there on the bayou, including even one of our council members who got out there and paddled as well.
I cheered from the sidelines.
Yes,
Great
the
job,
other, yeah, the other
Gerard.
council member cheered from the sidelines. But I will say he didn't do the whole 4 miles.
It looked like he did. He may have. He might have.
40 minutes was enough.
That's I hear you. The other event, we mentioned the Blessing of the Classics, which is tomorrow, and hope everyone can come out for that, starting at 1 o'clock, the National Night Out and the Barbecue Festival. We also have the Casa Red Beans and Rice Cook-Off. We will host that, and that will be October the 22nd at 4 o'clock outside. One last thing is we did have I have some position changes. Ty Wiltz has accepted the position of full-time Public Works Director, so he is doing that job currently. Pat Rich is temporarily handling any code enforcement cases that we may have, so if you have a code enforcement, if you would email, or if you want to email, you can email me, but you can also email Pat Rich on that one. And then any Public Works, you can email Ty on those. Tammy Garber has taken over as our agenda prep and minutes clerk, and so if you have any items that you want to add to an agenda, or if you want to ask any questions about the agenda, you contact her now, and she will take care of those for you. Jeannie Klein is taking over as our comptroller, and she will be doing the comptroller duties for next year. Okay.
Any questions to my left?
I just want to reiterate about the Cruising the Coast staging area. It has been on the south side for years past, but this year, I got a lot of questions today. This year, they're staging up here at City Hall, right?
That is correct.
At about 1 o'clock, and they're leaving at 4 to make the circle and coming back?
That is correct.
With a live band starting here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon as
Yes,
well?
that is correct. We'll have a live band starting here at 1, so people can show up then. Food, we'll have food trucks and other things out here, but we are staging everybody here on City Hall parking lot, as well as the 2 churches. So the cruisers will all park in there, and if needed, we'll even go down Noma Drive as well, and the police department's already said they'll take care of any issues down there to watch for those. So, but yes, that is a change, but we're trying to get everything here and have it all at one location. I think it's going to work out great for
Good
everybody.
deal. Looking forward to it.
I do have one thing also about the progress of the purchase of the retention pond.
I met with the Carl Jaffe, and we're in those discussions. So we're trying to work that details out to that, and hopefully soon we'll have an answer.
Any questions to my right?
I had just a couple little ones. Did you find anything on the craft fair, the funds?
I did reach
from-
out to Ms. Taylor. She explained to me finally in an email that she is working on that.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as she has those reports, she'll provide
Just
them
send
to
them
me.
you. Okay, great. And then anything new on the Ramada Inn to report?
Nothing right now.
Anything?
I will let
Guys?
the attorney decide if he wants to say more.
Okay.
What do we want to say? No, there is a new owner
Oh, okay.
of the Ramada, and the building officials, John and I met with the new owner and the attorney about some of the changes that Ramada is requiring, and then the permit application for them and what the city is going to require out there. So
Okay.
we're waiting on an application for them so they can get started and eventually get back their certificate of occupancy.
Okay, and Ramada Corporate's aware of their situation? Okay, that's all I had.
As far as I'm
As far
aware,
as you
yes.
have.
They've given the new conditions to the new owner, so
Okay.
I believe they're aware.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions to my right? I had a few questions. So back to the Blessing of the Classics, because I'm getting questioned because I shared the post on Facebook. But Ashley's been chiming in, good thing. So the parade's starting at City Hall,
Yes, they will.
so they'll start
They will leave
here.
out of here and head down Diamond Head Drive north.
And
make
doing the
circle.
complete circle. They're coming by the fire department and staying on East.
That is correct.
So they won't be passing in front of the nursing home, because this is the question I'm getting over and over.
No.
Just
they
when they're
will not.
coming in?
No, but I spoke with Todd Torgelson, who's actually kind of managing this whole thing for us, and he is going to take a small group of drivers and cars and take them over there to parade in front of them. It's too hard for them to get the residents down to the edge of the road. We were talking about taking them all the way up, go up Jex and turn around in front of the guard shack and come back, but they said it was just it was hard for them to get everybody down there. So he's just gonna take a small group over there and drive in front of the
So,
facility for them.
So they're all gonna be coming in 1 to 4 and
Correct.
staging, then at 4 to 7 is the parade,
Right, the
or is the
parade-
parade's probably
parade's
4
only
to
about 45
5?
minutes,
Yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't, it
yeah.
usually lasts an hour, an hour and a
It's not very
half.
long, yes.
And then everybody's coming back here till
And
7. So the
hopefully the
parade,
state will 7, yes.
the parade starts at 4, and when it ends, it ends.
That's correct.
It's not till 7.
That's correct.
Okay, because I'm getting that with
Yes.
people wanting
Yes.
to know, and I said I've never seen it last more than an hour, hour and a half
That blessing will still be over off of Diamond W.
That is correct, around that.
on that circle.
yes.
Okay. The other question, was the notice to proceed issued for Phase 4 paving? Do we?
Notice to proceed?
Mm-hmm.
I would, yes. We've issued that, because we've already had a pre-con meeting and
Okay, so
they've
his
started that
days
process.
already started, even though, so he knows his days have started?
That's correct, yes.
I think he was waiting to start after the event.
Oh, so the notice to proceed date wasn't until October 5th?
No, the notice to proceed was September the 26th, I think, whatever that last Monday of September
Yes.
was.
Yes, last Monday in September, but he's elected, I think, to wait till after the precinct.
Okay, I was just
But his
wondering.
days still are counting. I mean,
Yeah, they
it's-
are counting,
it's
even
on.
though he's
already
not
on the
here.
clock.
And then Makiki, I hadn't seen any activity.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Okay. I just have people asking me about
I agree.
Makiki, so
Like I
we need
said,
to.
he is waiting on that culvert to tear the road up and put the new culvert in. And I've seen several emails and he's getting conflicting information. Yes, it's ready, come pick it up. No, we don't have that. It'll be another week and then 6 more weeks from now. It's just, he's having trouble getting the supply. But that was my first question is, did he order it? And he does have the documentation showing where as soon as the submittal was, approved by the engineer, he ordered it. So it's just waiting on the supplier.
Then on East Aloha, I've had several residents, and it looks nice now that we have the striping down. It added a lot to get the striping down. It did. We have residents asking, and I'm gonna have to agree with them. We have no curb cuts going into the shopping center by, the Dollar Tree. You gotta go all the way down, then turn in by Goodies, and then you're trapped. You gotta keep going down the main entrance with everybody crossing
Yes.
to get in. But if we had another curb cut, so if we could do this on Phase 2 and look at it, across and line up with the one that's over by True Value, which will be by the Taco Bell, have another curb cut there where you could get in midpoint so that we could have people coming in and not being mandated to run across the front of the shopping center where everybody's crossing. You could have time to come in and decide where you're going left and right. It's too long of a stretch not to be able to get in the shopping center the way it is now.
See?
Can you have the engineer look
I
at
will
that?
look at
Because
that,
that is like
yeah.
a long, you've got to, if you go, and here's what the resident was saying, and I kind of agreed with him. If he went up to the, let's just say liquor store, then he wanted to go to the Dollar Tree. He had to go all the way back after he already passed it up and come back and go in. And then there's that continuous curb we put down the road that is the city's road, all the way up before you can turn in.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
No problem.
Any other questions? All right, moving right along. Any public comments? Did you need to leave early? No. Oh, I was gonna say, 'cause we are flexible up here. Okay, moving right along. Could I get a motion to approve the September 20th, 2022 regular scheduled meeting minutes?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A motion to adopt ordinance. Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-002, short-term rental units. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland. Could I get a second? Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye. It's an ordinance.
Oh, roll call.
City clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2022-321, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-072, thereby establishing salaries and rates effective October 10, 2022 for the fiscal year 2023. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. Resolution 2022-323, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-073, thereby appointing John McGraw as Commissioner for Gulf Regional Planning Commission. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? John, you will enjoy this. Have fun. Very good group. City clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-001, requesting from the City of Diamond Head the use of the viewing grandstand for the 2023 Crew of Diamond Head Parade. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City
Finley?
clerk?
Yes.
Finley, Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. 2023-017, motion to adopt 2023-003, thereby reducing the mayor's pay FY23 compensation from $15,000 to $10,000 and reallocating $5,000 and authorizing lump sum disbursements in the amount of $1,000 to the City of Diamond Head earmarked for the Army Cannon Monument Project, and the amount of $1,000 to the City of Diamond Head earmarked for the dog park, and the amount of $500 to the Friends of the Animal Shelter, and the amount of $500 to the Hancock County Food Pantry, and the amount of $500 to the Hancock County Resource Center, and the amount of $500 to the Hancock County Human Resource Center, and the amount of $500 to Magdalen House, and the amount of $500 to the fiscal agent for the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. Also further finding that said and community service programs provided services that promote improved health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Diamond Head. And finally, to authorize the administration to effectuate and allocations, including but not limited to properly documenting other match funds pursuant to the Mississippi Code 21-1965. And I move. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Lisi. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2023-025, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-004, thereby declaring the necessity for and authorizing the use of barricades in the Presbyterian Church parking lot on October 5th for the Blessing of the Classics and at the Trunk or Treat at the Diamond Head Community Country Club, the Diamond Head Country Club, which is really called the club now, on October 18th, and for other related purposes. Could I get a motion?
I move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lacy.
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 8 through 25?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second? Bless you. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilwoman Lisi. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Action Agenda 2023-019, motion to accept the audited financial statements with single audit for fiscal year end September 30, 2021. Could I get a motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye. 2023-2021, motion to concur with the Planning Commission's recommendation to allow Willie Kerner a variance for the zoning ordinance Article 4.19 to allow the construction of an accessory building, a utility shed, within 6 feet of the primary structure. The property address is 63715 Diamond Head Drive North. The tax parcel number is 068Q-1-41-079.000. The property is in an R2 zoning district. The setback for the primary structure is 10 feet. The variance requested is 4 feet. The case file number is 2022-00412. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left and discussion to my right? And this is a variance because they physically cannot fit it, and it only impacts the resident with the 6 feet closer to the house. Okay. All in favor? Aye. 2023-022, motion to concur with the Planning Commission's recommendation to approve Ralph E. Hayes a variance from the zoning ordinance Article 4.19 to allow construction of a roof over an existing patio within 19 feet of the rear lawn of the golf course. The property address is 7435 Mahawahuli Drive. The tax parcel number is 067N-2-35-048.001. The property is in an R2 zoning district. The setback required is 20 feet. The variance is for 1 foot. The case file number is 2022-00423. Could I get a motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. Any discussion to my left? Discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve payroll payable DKT 159984-DKT 159996 in the amount of $47,065.46, PR claim 000135 in the amount of $29,494.73, PR claim 136 in the amount of $2,531.97, PR claim 00137 in the amount of $28,502.06. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve docket of claims DKT 230001, DKT 230044 in the amount of $247,583.04. Motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor? Aye. Could I get a motion to approve financial reports June 2022, July 2022, August 2022? Motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now for non-agenda public comments. Jim, I don't know if that mic's on. You might want to see that little green button.
1, 2, sounds
Got
like.
Very good.
Okay, my name's Jim Jelinski. I live down on Airport Drive and been there for 35 years. And was reading the paper this morning and saw an article, and there's a bunch of lots that were never developed. There's a couple blocks of them down on the south side, south of Airport Drive, down in the flood zone. But there's other lots and a few groups scattered around Diamond Head. These are lots that never got developed, and I guess the Diamond Head Company or Purcell, they went belly up or whatever, and Regions Bank or People's Bank or somebody bought them, and now they're being auctioned off. So I just wanted, you guys might look at it, and you might be able to pick up some property for green space at an attractive price. And course, I like the woods across from my house, you know, so, I mean, that's my interest, but I just wanted to let you guys, in case anybody was not aware of it, but, rather than saying, oh, man, I wish we'd known about that. Well,
Right.
So I wanted to let you know about that. Let's see, there was something else. Oh, I was talking to, I think the gentleman's name is Chris, who was running a machine with the blower, and he was talking about them being shorthanded, you know, doing groundskeeping. And I thought, you know, you got this electronic sign that you advertise city council meetings. You could say, hey, you know, job openings or groundskeepers or, you know, whatever openings you might have. Be something you could put on that sign, and then people driving by would see it. Because there might be people here in Diamond Head that, hey, you know, I could do that for a couple hours a week or whatever, but they're just not aware of it. So
That's a great suggestion.
anyway,
We keep not utilizing that sign as much as we
Well,
could.
yeah. What do you
Okay,
think?
that's a very good suggestion.
I like that suggestion a lot, and I think also it should be on there almost regularly to sign up for an email blast to find out what's happening with the city.
Yeah. And I have a question. What became of the kayak launch apparatus up on the bayou?
It's on the agenda tonight for approval. We just approved to advertise to bid.
Oh, okay. I mean, there was one there, and then it was gone.
Disappeared. The
Oh, okay.
hurricane got it. It floated to Pascagoula.
Oh, okay.
The project now has got a 12-to-1 slope, so it's going to be so much better getting down to the
Yeah.
boat launch.
Okay, but it
Kayak
floated
launch. You'll be
away.
able just to set your kayak out. It's going to be so much nicer.
Yeah.
12-to-1 is ADA compliant,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
And we approved it, so it's already approved.
Yeah, I was just curious.
John
because
just has to go build it. It's
I
that
went by there
simple.
one day and
Just
it was
go
gone. I'm
build
like,
it.
Did somebody snagged it for scrap aluminum or what? I didn't know. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you and
And-
thank you for your interest. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
And you see how empty it is?
It's very sad.
That means you don't have a room full of angry people. That means you guys are doing a good job. And
I think they're out cruising
and I-
tonight,
I've
because
got-
we're all thinking that.
I've
We're
got-
like, we're missing something.
I've got my rat fink antenna topper to put on my Mustang.
Oh, nice.
But thank you all for the time and effort you guys put into this.
No,
Thank you
That's a great-
very
great
much.
Suggestions. I definitely agree. It says, city council meeting way too often. Every time I drive by, I'm like, one more already?
And it says
you.
Diamond Head too often.
All right, with that being said, is there any need for executive session? No. Is there any other business before the city council that needs to be addressed? With that, could I get a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
So-
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.